Today is February 20th, 2016. I'm Antoinette Gaskins-Mattingly, and I'm in the village of Avon talking with Miss Gloria O'Neal. This is the second session in our series of interviews with Miss Gloria. Thanks for letting us come talk to you.
Good.
You mentioned in our last interview that you lived and worked in Virginia after finishing business college in Norfolk. How long did you live away from Avon, and what year did you return?
I stayed there about 30 years altogether, working and moving back. I came back, then I moved back again. After Mark was born, and then we moved back again.
And Mark is your son?
Yes, Mark, my son. Then we moved back. I moved. Then I came back the second time in 1985.
What did you do for a living when you came back here?
Well, I worked in the realty. Charles is my brother, Williams Realty. And then I worked in Avon Shopping Center.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. I've often heard people talk about Gibbs Store. Was that near your home growing up?
Yes, it was. It was on Williams Road. Because it wasn't Williams Road then. It was just dog ridge down there. And our house is probably 3 or 4 houses down.
So you were very close to Gibbs Store.
Very close to Gibbs Store.
Did your family shop there?
Yes, we did.
Okay. Can you tell me what the store was like, what type of merchandise they carried, and was it a social spot in addition to a store?
Yeah, those days they had, we didn't have no electricity. We didn't have no frozen food, ice cream, or anything like that. We had canned salmon and corned beef hash and collard greens sometimes, he would sell them. Things like that. We had plenty of preserves.
When he sold collard greens, did somebody provide those to him from their gardens, or did he bring them from off the island?
I think my father probably brought them.
Okay, from off the island, from
yeah.
somebody's farm somewhere. Okay. And was it a social spot in addition to a store?
Yeah, the men would congregate in the evening and they probably talked politics or anything that came up.
Okay. Very neat.
Around the stove, their pop. They had a good time, yeah.
And I understand that there was a charge book or a log book that when you shopped you would
charge it.
Okay. And did you do that yourself, or was there a shopkeeper that took care of those things?
No, he did it. He had sometimes Libby worked in there.
My Nana worked in there?
Worked in there.
Really?
When she was young, she worked in there. She got $5 a week.
Wow, I didn't know that.
And she'd save it till when she get $20, she'd buy herself a dress or something like that.
Okay.
She told me that.
When you say when she was young, do you think she was a teenager?
Yeah, she was a teenager.
A teenager? Okay.
About 13, 14, 15, something like that.
I didn't know that.
I got some pictures I took down there, her fair or somewhere.
Of her, there at Gibbs Store?
Yeah.
Oh, very nice. I understand that your father wrote a book that was published in the early 1970s. Can you tell me about his book?
Well, I don't know too much about it.
Okay.
It took him quite a while to do that. It takes a long time, to write a book. And I remember he'd be on it when he was writing it. And it was all about Kinnakeet in the past,
Was he writing that when you were a child, or more?
I think he probably started on that when I was probably in high school or something like that.
Okay.
Because it takes time, to do that, and with his work he had to do, because he was a busy man, at the end.
Yeah. Well, that's neat. What was the name of his book?
The Kinnakeeter.
The Kinnakeeter.
The Kinnakeeter. Yeah.
And I understand that is being republished.
Yes, it is. It's in there now. I saw Annie this morning. I was going to ask her about it.
Very nice. Did your grandparents live nearby you when you were growing up?
Not too far. My father's mother lived on the same road, but my mother's mother lived in what they call Cat Ridge.
Okay, Cat Ridge.
That was about a half a mile, I imagine.
So did your mother grow up at Cat Ridge?
Yeah, she did.
Okay. What was your father's mother's name?
Sally Ann Williams.
Sally Ann Williams, and she was there near your home.
Yeah, she was, yeah.
Did y'all spend a lot of time with your grandparents?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, kids did. They love their grandparents those days. Yeah, I spent the night with my grandmother every night until she died.
Wow, very nice. Can you tell me, were there any places in the village for recreation or entertainment when you were growing up?
Well, we had a place when I was about 15, 14, 15, 16. Anders Place. It's called Anders Place.
Where was that?
That was in the middle of Cat Ridge. You know where Curtis Garber lives?
Yes,
Mary
ma'am.
Jane, right across the street.
Really?
Lois Miller now has it. She's got a...
I think it did it later become Pritchard's, not Pritchard's store, Erskine's store?
Yeah, Erskine's store.
But that building there.
That building is still there.
And it was called Anders.
Anders Place.
Okay. And was it a gathering spot, a social spot?
For the kids, teenagers. We danced in there, and he had a piccolo in there. We played Hank Williams and all that stuff. I was ever popular at that time,
Very nice. So that would have been in your teenage years.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can you tell me about the fish houses in the village? I understand that the harbor hadn't been dug yet.
Well, they had them there.
Oh, they
had. I remember they sat up neither to the Middle Creek. Clemmy Gray had it.
Okay.
He sold a lot of fish. He bought a lot of fish because there was a lot of fishermen here then. They had 3 or 4 boatloads of fish in back of the main boat.
Huh.
They had a lot of fish those days.
Were the fish houses any different then than they are today? No.
Not that I could see.
Okay.
They made of the same water down there.
Yeah. And did they ship the fish out to other places then?
Yeah, somebody would come pick them up.
And did they pick them up by truck or by boat? Do you remember?
I think they must have done it by boat.
Okay.
Probably did.
And they were up the Northern.
Some's up Northern, then Clemmy had his. Then he moved down here then.
Okay. Okay. When the harbor was dug.
When the harbor was dug.
All right. Very neat. I understand you had 7 siblings, or were you one of 7?
I'm one of 7. I'm the youngest one.
You're the baby.
I'm the baby.
Okay, and I assume your mom did a lot of cooking and housekeeping and taking care of children and all that stuff. Did you have any favorite meals that your mom cooked growing up?
I guess, my mother was a good cook.
She was?
Yes, she was. I like stewed chicken. I like fried chicken. And she would make a lemon meringue pie,
Oh, wow.
That together was good. Roast beef. Once in a while we had beef, it was good. Mm-hmm. My favorite meal was stewed clams. I like clams.
Now, I've never had stewed clams.
Boy, they're good. That's the best stuff I ever eat in my life.
Is there pie bread and stewed clams?
Mm-hmm. Huh. Potatoes and onions.
Okay.
It's good.
So clams, potatoes, onions. Is it thick? Thickish stew gravy and pie bread.
Pie bread, yeah.
I bet it's delicious.
It is.
Are the clams whole or are they chopped?
Whole.
Whole?
Yeah.
I bet it's delicious. Did your father go out and collect clams, or did you?
No. Somebody would sell them, We'd buy them, 25. Then you get 25 or 50, whichever. Then I would go clamming myself.
You would?
With me, Gerald, and all the kids, they go clamming. With a rake and get with it.
Very nice. You and Gerald are close in age,
yes,
right?
2 years. Yeah.
Did y'all pal around together a lot as children?
Well, yeah, down the road in the yard, we had bats and balls, and the kids would go down there. We'd play a game of baseball down home. And the front was big those days, like a baseball field back there.
There by your home.
Yeah.
And were there a lot of kids in the village then?
They only went down the road as we go over.
Okay.
Just the kids right in that area.
Okay.
We go there. Yeah.
Okay. Very good. I understand that you are the church historian for St. John United Methodist Church.
Yes, I am.
That is very nice. Can you Can you tell me a little about the church? What year St. John United Methodist Church started? Any history about that?
It was in 1880. It's been built in 1880.
And was it in the same location where it is now?
Yes, it was.
Okay. Is that the same building or was it rebuilt?
No, it's not the same building. They built a new one in 1962. This was built in 1962 by Alice Gray and Walker Scarborough building.
Ah, my great-grandfather.
Your great-grandfather.
And Walker Scarborough. Interesting. What happened to the church that was there prior to 1962?
Well, they probably tore it down, you know. I don't know how else they had to demolish it. Yeah.
Okay. And I understand at some point there were 2 Methodist churches in the village. What can you tell me about that?
Well, they had the Northern Methodist and the Southern Methodist. The Northern Methodists would have their meetings at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And the Southern Methodists would have it regularly in Sunday school church like it is now, 10 and 11 and 11 o'clock.
Okay. Why were there 2 churches? It seems like a small village for 2 Methodist churches.
Well, I don't know. Maybe that was more or less like an independent Methodist.
The Northern Methodist.
Northern Methodist.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Okay. And at some point, was that Northern Methodist closed?
Now, your grandmother bought the church and made a house out of it.
My
Carrie and Ellis.
Carrie and Ellis
Yeah.
Gray,
Mm-hmm.
right there on North End Road.
Yes, right.
Okay. And then how about the Pentecostal church? Has that been here as long as the Methodist church?
No, that was something new.
That was new?
I think that came here in 1937 when they
Okay.
started that.
Can you tell me the difference between the denominations?
I don't. What do you mean? Were they doing their service?
Yes. Why would someone say go to one church and not the other, or?
Well, I really don't know. They probably get a preacher that somebody liked. They like the preacher. Didn't like that preacher. They get mad, go over there, or they get mad, come over here. You know how that is.
I do. Okay.
Something silly, something frivolous, a little thing.
So today, what churches are in the village?
Now, they don't have Assemblies of God here anymore.
They don't?
No.
Okay.
It's independent. It's called Faith Life.
Oh.
Independent.
Okay. And the Pentecostal became Assembly of God.
And now that's out. They got another one.
Okay.
It's independent. Faith Life is the name of it.
Faith Life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. And then St. John United Methodist Church
That's
is
the same
still...
thing. Yeah, still the same. We still have a preacher, probably they leave every 4th year. Mm-hmm. Now that one, the independent, that's forever.
Oh.
He's down there forever.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, that's not an organization.
Okay.
It's independent.
Okay.
The preacher owns the church.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. All right. Well, thank you for that bit of history on the churches in the village.
Welcome.
Okay. Anything you want to add to that?
No, I don't. I just everything's running all right.
Okay.
As far as I know, we like our preacher.
Excellent. Yes, he's a lovely fellow.
Oh, he's wonderful.
Yes, he is. Can you tell me about the major storms that you've experienced in your life here in Avon?
Well, we had, when I was a kid, we had one, I was about in 44. I was 10 years old. And that was a tidal wave.
A tidal wave?
A tidal wave.
From the ocean or from the sound?
Both met because of tidal wave.
Uh-huh.
And the houses were all over. But people, my grandmother's was demolished by some of them. They got new. The Red Cross would come down here and help them out on that. So it was awful. I mean,
when you say the houses were all over, what do you mean?
They were floating off of blocks.
Oh, they floated off their foundations.
Yes, they did.
Okay.
It was a bad storm.
And what did the Red Cross do to help?
Well, they would jack them up, bring them back to their place, and jack them up on jacks, put blocks under them.
Okay.
It's not like it is now with all this hydraulic, electric, everything. You just took your arm and took a thing, put it in that jack, and jacked it up, and throw a block under there.
Wow. Well, that's neat that the Red Cross came and helped to do that.
Yes,
And there were a lot of houses that floated off their foundations in that storm?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was your house okay? It did not float?
No, it didn't float.
Okay. How about other houses on your street?
Yeah, one floated right in our yard and knocked down our fig tree, and that was the end of our fig tree. It made me want to cry when I got rid of that fig.
I bet.
Okay.
Kinnakeeters love their figs.
Yeah, they do.
Are there any other storms of note that you remember?
You remember them.
Okay.
Lately, they were rough, but they weren't like a tidal wave.
Uh-huh.
Not a hurricane,
Okay.
No.
Okay. People talk about, and we talked about the other day, the areas of the village called Dog Ridge and Cat Ridge. Do you have any idea why they got those names?
Well, I really don't know.
Okay.
You can probably guess. It might have come from the Indians.
Huh.
And they probably, the people up the road would fight, argue with each other back and forth. They called each other, there's the cats and dogs fighting.
Okay.
It's just like they fight up there just like cats and dogs.
Okay.
That could come from that.
Uh-huh.
I figure that's probably what it is.
Probably why it's Cat Ridge and Dog Ridge.
They two and two together sometimes.
Okay. All right. Can you tell me where Little Kinnakeet Life Saving Station and Big Kinnakeet Life Saving Station were?
Well, they're in the same location. Big Kinnakeet's gone.
And where was that?
That was south of Avon.
Okay.
Little Kinnakeet was north.
Okay.
Probably about 2 miles. Yeah, something like that.
Uh-huh. And did any of the folks from the village live at the life-saving stations?
Not then.
Not then?
No. They did way back yonder, they say.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Some families did.
Can you tell me a little bit about the post office and mail delivery when you were a child? How did the mail come in?
By truck.
The mail came in by truck?
It used to come in by boat, but that was before my time.
Uh-huh.
Manson could tell you about that.
Okay.
And, but they had a truck when I was...
Mail truck brought the mail down. Where was the where was the post office?
Well, the first one, the real old one, I showed it to her way down the road.
Okay.
On Piehead Road. But when Velma had, my sister, was a postmistress, it was between, it was on Dog Ridge, between her Gibbs store.
Yes.
Was between, right across the street from Gibbs store, between, I'll name the name, Corey, Greg, and Jody Williams. Between that, mail. Mail. Right there.
It was right there.
Right there.
Okay. Any idea about what year that newer post office was built?
Velma, when she first did right there. I tried to figure that out. I should say probably 40, 41, something like that.
Okay. And Velma was your oldest sister?
Yeah.
Okay. Who ran the post office prior to Velma?
My grandfather.
Was that your father's father?
Father's father,
Okay.
He stayed right in the family.
Very nice. And he lived right there near y'all?
Right down the road.
Okay.
Last house on that William Pothead Road.
So Pothead was the road that you lived on Dog Ridge, but it was kind of Pothead Road?
Pothead was way down there. We used to live down when I was little. We moved down the road back when I was 2 or something like that. But we left Pothead.
Okay, all right. Well, that's neat. It sounds like when you were a child, maybe trucks were bringing freight to the island and mail to the island more so than boats. Is that the case?
Yeah.
Okay. And at that point, how were they getting onto the island, the trucks?
Ferry.
By ferry?
Organelli Ferry.
Okay, at Organelli. And then was there a road?
Just sand road is all. We didn't have no highway now.
Okay.
Till I was a teenager. It was a sand road.
And was the sand road on the beach, or was it kind of?
Well, it would vary. It was the corn. If you could drive, it was hard. You just choose the hard way. You didn't get on that soft sand. You didn't have it.
If you did, you had to get out and shovel and push.
Like you did that bus. You got bus. You had to shove the bus.
That's right. Can you tell me how Christmas was celebrated in Avon? Was anything different then about Christmas in Avon than it is now?
Well, we'd go to church and Christmas Eve and we'd have our program, and come back. Santa Claus would come. You get up next morning and get your toys.
Okay.
And play with them in the yard. Whichever you got.
So there was a program at church on Christmas Eve? Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. And can you tell me about traveling to other villages on the island? Did you ever go up to, say, Chickamaucomico for Old Christmas, or to the movies in Hatteras, dances, camp meetings, anything?
I did not do that.
Okay.
Probably Velma and my older sisters probably did, but I didn't do that.
If you did go to another village, how easy or how hard was it to get to visit someone in another village?
It was rough.
Was it rough?
You had sandy roads. You'd have to just go through them, put some force on that car and put the pedal to the
metal.
And go 90 miles an hour. Go right through it, sail through it.
Did any of your friends have cars, or did your parents drive you if you went somewhere?
No, they didn't have cars those days.
No.
Just a few, two or three men had, and that was it.
And your father had a truck,
He had
right?
a truck. He had no car.
Okay.
Just a truck.
Uh-huh.
And a small little.
Okay.
Small truck. So.
Okay. Can you describe how the landscape has changed in the village? The difference between when you were a child and now?
Sure. The ocean has come closer.
Okay.
And the sound has come closer.
Really?
There was a lot of land when I was growing up.
Really?
There sure was.
Were there dunes? Had the dunes been built when you were growing up?
Yeah, they had dunes.
Okay. And the dike around the village that had been built?
Yeah.
Okay, but the land was just generally wider.
Yeah.
Huh. And were there roads in the village? Paved roads, I mean.
No, paved roads,
Okay, when did paved roads come?
Probably in 48, I imagine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very neat. All right, well, Miss Gloria, that is all I have for today. It has been a pleasure to get to interview you. Thank you for giving me your time. Is there anything you'd like to add before we finish up?
No, I just enjoy living here. It's my home, and I really like Kinnakeet. I appreciate you coming by, and I hope I've been of help.
You've been a great help.
Okay, thank you, darling.
Thank you so much.
You have a good trip on your way.